Which of the accompanying graphs describe functions? Explain your answer. In order to tell whether a graph is a function or not, we can apply the vertical line test. The vertical line test says if every vertical line intersects a graph at no more than one point, then the graph represents a function. In other words, if you can draw a vertical line that intersects the graph in more than one point, then it is not a function. Let's take a look at graph A. We'll take a vertical line, we slide it across the graph, and we can see right away that it intersects the graph in more than one point. That tells us that graph A is not a function. And the reason that it's not a function is that it does not pass the vertical line test. The vertical line passes through more than one point on the graph. So we would say does not pass the vertical line test. Now let's take a look at graph B. Again, we take a vertical line and we drag it across the graph, and we can see that at each point the vertical line only passes through the graph once. So the conclusion that we would make here is that graph B is a function. And the reason is that it passes the vertical line test. And then finally for graph C, again we take a vertical line, we drag it across the graph, and we see that at each point it only intersects the graph at most once. And so graph C also represents a function. And again, that's for the same reason that every place that we draw a vertical line, the vertical line only passes through the graph one time, and therefore the graph passes the vertical line test, and graph C represents a function.